Hi there, and welcome to a special edition of Leading Edge this week. I'm your host, Jeff Smith. It was almost a year ago when WTOL 11 was able to tell you about a major announcement involving the future of electric vehicles and education here in the Glass City. A new electric vehicle center right here in the heart of Toledo. Its goal? To teach EV skills right here, keeping Toledo at the forefront of the vehicle manufacturing of the future.
The Toledo-made Jeep, Willys Overland, GM Powertrain, symbols of the city's rich automotive history. And this pile of dirt at Toledo Technology Academy is a sign of the future of globally competitive leadership in electric vehicles.
For America to remain a leader and for Toledo to be at the center in the new propulsion age and the new age of clean energy and power. We have to educate to the future.
This is the spot for the TPS Electric Vehicle Center to be finished next year, a place where high school students, future EV engineers, will innovate and then develop the future of the auto industry. High school students like Aaron Stanford will be able to accumulate college credit, earn certifications, and intern at EV trailblazers like Tesla.
I personally haven't seen it anywhere else. It's a really unique program. It's really unique, and it's very exciting to see it happen.
TPS Superintendent Romulus Durant says it's a financial advantage for students who can go directly into the EV workforce at 18 with experience in hand, avoiding college debt.
Don't settle for just a diploma, settle for certification as well as college credit at no cost to you.
But it's not just students. Displaced auto workers can be trained or retrained here. Technicians from local car dealerships can learn to repair and maintain EVs with the hope that Toledo becomes a national leader in where one goes to learn these skills.
If you're short mechanics as it is, what happens when EV comes here and we don't have anybody trained? So our students will be in the pipeline to meet the needs of business.
And today, for the first time here on Leading Edge, an exclusive look and conversation about the Electric Vehicle Lab and what it means for education, opportunity, and Toledo's rich automotive history. Tom Demetru joining us here in the Electric Vehicle Lab, TPS, brand spanking new. Exciting, this facility, is it not?
Isn't it fantastic? It's been many years in the works, and it's difficult to believe that it's finally here. Really the first facility of its kind in the state for a high school program, and we couldn't be more excited to cut the ribbon and get up and running for this school year.
Let's talk a little bit about the opportunity that this brings about.
Sure. Well, for the students at TTA in particular, where the facility is housed, we've long focused on engineering and science, advanced manufacturing technologies, mechatronics, electronics. For us, it was really a seamless fit, particularly as concerns the manufacture of electric vehicles. We all know, I mean, it'd be hard to avoid the fact that we're seeing
There's a transition right now.
You got it.
Yeah.
The auto industry making a transition. We don't know exactly the time frame, but we know it's coming, and sooner rather than later.
And happening locally as well, in the real world.
You got it. Very much happening locally. And I'm glad you point that out, because everything we do in Toledo Public Schools and in our career tech programs, the goal is to specifically train the students for the modern careers that exist locally, regionally.
Yeah, keep local talent here.
You got it. And so we wanted to, we working with our partners, UAW, working with partners in industry and the local auto dealers, we knew going back several years that this was a trend that was coming. Opportunity presented itself to secure or apply for some federal funding to maybe give us a kickstart to help establish a program that would keep our students on the cutting edge of these emergent technologies. We managed to bring it home locally, and a great team, put their minds to it. We had to not just develop a facility, but really develop a curriculum to prepare our students for those careers. So back to what I was saying about TTA, long working on it in terms of advanced manufacturing. And there's three components that we were looking at as concerns electric vehicles. Or sometimes you'll hear the term e-mobility, because it's not just automobiles. You're talking about electric propulsion systems that could be applied to sea vessels, it could be applied to what historically have been diesel vehicles, aerial drones, etc.
Redefining transportation.
You got it, redefining transportation. But three major considerations that we need to prepare our workforce for. The big one, as I said, that really aligned nicely with Toledo Technology Academy of Engineering was the manufacturing component. And not all the students will exclusively work in the manufacturing realm, but really that's historically been the focus of this institution.
Yeah.
The second is the EV infrastructure. So something people, maybe certainly experts and those working in the field spend a lot of time thinking about is these vehicles aren't going to do us any good if we don't have the infrastructure in place to actually charge them and keep them, moving along their way.
Yeah.
And we need electricians and we need workforce properly trained to actually establish that national infrastructure to ensure that we're capable of powering and recharging these vehicles as people, travel across the country.
And this lays the foundation for that.
And this lays the foundation for it. And then the third component, which will be afforded to students here at TTA, but additionally we're going to bring in our traditional internal combustion programs, which we have an auto technology program at Start High School. We have a diesel technology program at Woodward High School. Is the servicing, the maintenance of these EVs. So that's a component that'll be added to their curriculum.
Are we thinking in terms of, you've read the stories, I'm sure, over your time. Albert Einstein took a watch apart, he put it back together. I mean, is that what we're looking at, these kids being able to actually get in, rebuild, redefine as far as electrical components are concerned?
Well, if you mean in terms of really applying their mechanical
Right.
acuity to the task, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's really what's, I think, so wonderful about what we call career, technical education programs is that they're hands-on and they're learning taking place in an authentic context. So I use that word authentic. Historically, I was not a career tech teacher. I didn't grow up, for example, and study auto technologies. I wish I did.
You were teaching English at Rogers, correct?
You do your homework.
Yeah.
I was teaching English at Rogers, and actually sort of begrudgingly accepted a temporary assignment working in career tech, where I told them, you got the wrong guy here.
Yeah.
I don't really know about these technologies. And they said, no, we need you to fill in as an administrator. You don't need to be the content expert. So I went over for a temporary assignment. Then as an English teacher who's really trying to bring the classroom to life, you realize in these career tech classrooms, you don't need to bring anything to life. It's already alive. They're already out there. They're actually doing it in the classroom, and they're out there doing projects in the community. We have students, for example, in our auto tech programs that are working with one of our partners, ProMedica. We've partnered with, along with Mercy on our pre-med high school. They bring vehicles in, our auto tech program gets them up to speed, gets them road ready, and then they're given through a process to single mothers here in the Toledo community. That's a real world context where students know that the work they're doing, the learning that's taking place, means something.
Right.
And when you can provide that, they light right up and you can't keep them out of the school on the weekends, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Freshmen through seniors, possible work being done in this facility?
This facility is going to focus specifically on grades 11 and 12, but there'll be introductory components along the way where they can get a taste of it.
Yeah.
We want to have the students dip their toes in different career pathways here at TTA, or in this case, we're calling this electric vehicle tract. So it's a subset of an existing pathway. So they can determine what their niche is, and then they really in earnest apply their, to their studies in junior year, 11th grade.
We got about 45 seconds
Yes,
left.
sir.
I just wanted to ask you, I read in your bio, you said there's nothing that has moved you more than teaching a kid and finding out later in life, them coming back to you and saying, one, you were my favorite teacher, or two, I really learned something. How does that apply to this?
Well, I think it applies in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And I would say, the way you portrayed that, I almost sound immodest, and I know that wasn't your intention. My point is that you just don't know what you're going to do or say or what spark is going to ignite a student's passion and interest.
Right.
And sometimes you don't find out by the time they graduate. They'll maybe 10, 15 years down the road, they'll come back and say, hey, you made all the difference in my life. And we're just trying to provide those sparks. And I think this facility is going to be a fantastic way to provide an explosive number of sparks for this community.
I think my point was how important teaching is sometimes and how it does come back to pat you on the back for a job well done.
You got that right,
Tom,
sir.
good luck going forward.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate the insight into this. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back as we continue our conversation about this fantastic electric vehicle lab here at TTA for the TPS system. Tony Totti, president of Local 14, joining me. I wanted to have kind of a full rounded discussion as far as the importance of this facility. Just your initial impression. Obviously, this has been long in the works, but give me a little bit of your 2 cents on it.
Really impressed by the building. The building trades did a great job on it. We're excited to get students in here. It won't just be TPS students. We're going to fully utilize this facility. So during the day, the students will go there, and on the off hours, any displaced auto worker, any mechanic that's at a current dealership that needs to be trained in EV, any unemployed or underemployed person could also get training here. So this is great for the entire community.
There was a learning curve you and I talked about when the transition was happening at GM Propulsion Systems. Yep. You started seeing all of the new technology coming in, and that workforce right there, obviously a little bit longer in years, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of an aged workforce compared to already putting this type of education into the future. Talk about that.
Well, we just had a big transformation at our facility. 127 of Local 14 members just retired. And we're replacing them with transfers from other areas, but we're hiring people off the street as well. Part of that's going to be for our electric vehicles, the electric drives that we're going to produce.
Right.
Just had the $760 million investment into the electric drives, and we're looking to launch that this year. And this goes along with that. That's part of recognizing all the opportunities that we have for our students and the community to be a part of this EV revolution.
The education component, obviously so huge. You and I talked about that before we ever did the interview here today, and we were just saying, to be able to integrate this into a normal school day is just fascinating.
It's amazing. I'm so happy that we were able to do that. And you got to look at our partners. You know, all this started when Marcy Captor had a call and brought a lot of us together on the call, and John Yark from Yark Automotives was on there, and he was citing the fact that he had issues with getting new mechanics trained. And I thought, you know, well, if you have a problem with current mechanics, a shortage there, what's it going to look like for EV?
Right.
And that's when we got together and put this idea together. And Marcy Captor helped us, like she always does, to get funding, initial funding for this facility. Got to say thank you to Dr. Durant with TPS to finish it with the rest of the funding, and all of the partners that came together. Tom Dimitru's doing a great job getting the curriculum ready for this as well.
That's the big part of this, right, is the education part of it. Talk about the youth movement. And it doesn't mean that somebody comes in here as a junior or senior in high school and immediately goes into the trades. There is that possibility. They could go on to an engineering background in college, but from your perspective, and especially as a union head, what does this mean for your workforce in the future?
A lot of opportunities. You know, I was just talking to my plant manager the other day, and she said, how can we get students from there into the pipeline again? You know, when you look at Toledo Technology Academy, which was started 25 years ago, UAW Local 14, General Motors, and TPS, the intent was to get students through the system and get them over to General Motors so they can stay here as engineers and various other roles. We're at that point again, and that's why I love this thing, because we're taking another look at that relationship and that pipeline. We're looking at different ways to get students from here into the trades and engineering, and so we're taking another look at that and giving it more energy.
We've got a few EV vehicles here in the facility as well. How'd that come about?
Well, through the Marcy Captor funding. That's what helped do it, and we not just General Motors vehicles, we have Fords, we have Teslas, you know, all of the things that the dealerships, the different dealerships will need. So as much as I say, hey, buy American, and these vehicles were made here in America, we like union vehicles. You know, we have to get our students ready for whatever field or dealership they will go to.
There may be those out there who say EVs aren't selling. It's not happening yet. However, one of the things that Tom said was, you might have a kid come in here, get this education, and become an electrician, go into the trades in some way, shape, or form. That's definitely a possibility, right?
Well, it's nice to be on the cutting edge of it. And when you look at this facility, when we talk infrastructure, this is a part of the infrastructure. It's just as important as electrifying a road or building more chargers. You have to have a facility where you can train people to maintain and repair EVs, and that's what this is doing. So I'm happy that we're early in on it. This is a pilot program. It looks like for the state, they'll look at this as hopefully something that they can mimic around the state and across the country, because this is needed. Me and Tom Dimitru just went to an EV summit not too far from here, and people were looking to see what we're doing because they want to be a part of this.
This is a pilot program. This is going to kind of set a game plan for the rest of the state, is it not?
Exactly, and we're looking to share this information and what we did here with everybody because it only helps everybody. Hopefully other communities can benefit from what we do here right in Toledo.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, continued good luck. We appreciate the insight, and thanks for sharing the facility with us.
Thank you once again for coming out and checking it out, and we'll look to see you on the ribbon cutting day.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Tony Toddy, good to see you. We'll be back with another segment right after this. Drew Hamilton, owner of Brown Honda here in the Toledo area. We wanted real-world applications as part of this interview today to talk real-world specifics. And you look at a facility like this, I said to you, I joked, I said at our age, we didn't have things like this. Shop class wasn't like this when we were growing up.
No.
It's amazing, is it not?
Yeah, so I wish that more kids would have had an opportunity like this, and having facilities like this in general in the Toledo public schools is fantastic.
Yeah, and Tony was telling us it's not just TPS kids who are going to benefit from this, but how important is it in a real world situation like you see each and every day at a dealership, knowing the need that exists not only for the technology know-how, but also the physical labor that exists and the need for that?
Yeah, so automotive technicians is one of the highest paying jobs at the dealership, and I think that it's just not front and center in a lot of kids' minds, and the career and the amount of money they can make being an automotive mechanic. So,
have you seen shortages over the last few years, especially since COVID?
Oh, absolutely. So it's probably one of the highest demand jobs in our industry. I think that NADA said that there's about 36,000 graduates that go into the automotive field every year, and we're trying to replace 77,000 a year. So the demand is just through the roof. So obviously the salaries have risen tremendously.
One of the things Tony and I were talking about before this, we said, you know, the EV demand, there are those out there who are going to say it's never going to take off, it's never going to happen. I don't see it that way. I see the implementation is happening. What's your read?
I think it's been slower than they would like, but there's a lot of things that have to get done. I mean, things like this, I mean, repairs, infrastructure, but it's definitely turned that way, and it's definitely not going to go back. Just the amount of investment that the manufacturers have made, and the United States in general has made, it's definitely going to shift. Whether that's a slower or faster than most people would like, it's what we're all going to be driving as EVs.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about over the course of this day is we said there's always been talk in Toledo about brain drain. You train the best, you get the best ready for the future, and then they go somewhere else and they take their know-how and knowledge to another town and right. benefit that city. So talk about things like this and how this can hopefully keep the best here, right, and benefit the Glass City going forward, and Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan, for that matter.
Yeah, so it's what a lot of dealers are struggling with is trying to locate technicians to come into their area because there's just the demand is so high. So Toledo investing in things like this is just going to be so invaluable, not only for dealership community, but for the people in Toledo as well. So
yeah, talk about EVs and what you have seen as far as the impact on the industry. I know you said it's been slow, but you've gotten in one, you've driven one. What is the difference? What are people who have not been behind the wheel of one not knowing?
Well, first of all, you don't have to stop at a gas station, right? You just got to find a charging location. A lot of people in Toledo have homes, so they're going to be able to charge their vehicles from homes. They're high-performance vehicles. I mean, they're very fast. Honda just came out with their Prologue, which we have a couple on the lot right now. They're the fastest cars, Honda's ever made. They're quiet. The overall experience is very enjoyable. It's just, crossing that divide of how do we go from gas to EV. Honda has really embarked on going from hybrid, first all hybrid, to then electric, which I think that the customers have really appreciated.
Your guys' connection with this and the Ohio Automobile Dealers Association is going to be watching how this goes forward, what the game plan is here, how it works, why they make it work. Talk about this being the pilot and how important that is for Toledo to have a pilot program that the rest of the state's going to be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, just walking through this facility, I mean, it blew my mind. I mean, at Brown Honda, we're building a new dealership on Central Avenue, and just seeing all the technology they have in here, I'm trying to take notes. I mean, they have the chargers on the lifts. I mean, it's just a magnificent facility, and it's really going to be the benchmark for what dealers in the area do as well.
But being linked to a statewide organization as you are, and thinking in terms of, it's not one of the big C's, it's not Akron, it's not Youngstown, it's Toledo that is going to be putting itself on the map as far as this industry is concerned.
Yeah, I think it's very important. We're close to Detroit. Honda has a humongous footprint. Just speaking with Honda in general, Honda has a tremendous footprint in Ohio. We have more employees than any other state. So just seeing that we're investing in our community like this is just going to really propel us into the future, I feel.
Yeah, well, Drew, I appreciate you spending some time with us here today and talking with us a little bit of not only the real world applications to what you're seeing at the dealership, but how something like this can transition and help you guys in the future.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you. We'll be back, wrap things up for this week on Leading Edge right after this. As we wrap things up for this week, I always want to put things in context for you. And while I want you to understand it's not apples to apples because the TPS TTA program is a pilot program, I thought it was important to share with you what some similar EV curriculum and training actually costs in the real world. So take a look at this. We've got information from Legacy EV. It's an Arizona company that specializes in not only aftermarket EV applications, but it offers certified EV technician training programs. So look at what some of these courses cost. In-person EV training, which teaches students to wire, program, commission, tune, and practice fault finding in various EV systems, $5,000. The Certified Technician Program, which is designed to walk automotive mechanics through the ins and the outs of an EV build from the ground up, that's $2,500. How about wiring and the applicable tools? That costs $4,000. And finally, the EV fundamental curriculum, as they call it, which is about building an understanding of EV history, fundamental electrical theory, systems analysis, and it walks you through your own EV build. That is $14,000 for 1 year and up to 24 students. So once again, not apples to apples, but more along the lines of context in the terms of what's being offered in the real world and the opportunity being afforded to students this year at TTA and those eventually looking for retraining. We appreciate you spending time, as always, with us here on Leading Edge. We hope to see you next time.